Hello and welcome to lesson 1 of week 10. We're going to simplify radicals using conjugates today. So, review of multiplying conjugates. We introduced that in the last lesson of week 9. It was when we had the exact same binomial except for the sign. And what happened was the middle term canceled. So we did 4 times 4 and got 16, minus 12 radical 5, plus 12 radical 5, minus 9, and then radical 5 times radical 5 made 5. The middle terms, like I said, canceled, and we were left with 16 minus 45, which gave us negative 29. Okay, we're going to review something that we learned at the beginning of week 9, rationalizing the denominator. Here we have 8 over 3 radical 5. We wanted to get rid of the radical in the denominator, so we multiplied the top and bottom by radical 5. The top became 8 radical 5. The bottom became 3 times the square root of 25, which is 3 times 5. So 8 radical 5 on top, 15 on the bottom. Okay, now we're going to do something that's a little different. This looks very much like the last problem. You can see it. The difference is there's a plus between the 3 and the radical 5. Now, if I multiply the top and the bottom by radical 5, what's going to happen is the bottom is going to become 3 radical 5 plus 5, and the radical is not going to be gone. So what we have to do is we actually have to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate. So the conjugate of 3 plus radical 5 is 3 minus radical 5. Whatever you multiply the bottom by, though, you have to multiply the top by. I'm not going to worry about the top right now. I'm going to leave it as 8 parentheses 3 minus radical 5, and something's going to happen there. You'll see that in a second. Now, we're foiling 3 plus radical 5 times 3 minus radical 5. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times radical 5, radical 5 times negative radical 5 is negative radical 25. I know that the middle terms cancel, so I can just ignore that. All right, so square root of 25 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. Now, I know that 8 is being multiplied by 3 minus radical 5, but 8 is on the outside of the radical, and so is the 4. We can actually reduce that. So now I have 2 times the parenthesis times the quantity of 3 minus the square root of 5. Distribute, and we're done. So 2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 radical 5, and that's done. This one's a little more challenging. There's a lot of radicals going on here. We need the conjugate. So the conjugate of 3 radical 2 minus square root of 10 is 3 radical 2 plus the square root of 10. So we got to do that times the bottom and the top. So the top becomes 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 2 is also 12. So 12 radical 12. 4 times 1 is 4. 6 times 10 is 60. I went ahead and distributed here because you'll see what happens. The bottom, 3 radical 2 times 3 radical 2 is 9 radical 4. 9 times 4 is, I will get that in a second. Square root of 10 times the square root of 10 is 100, and we're subtracting. So let's simplify. 12 radical 12, well, the 12 is already on the outside. The square root of 12 is 4 times 3. 4 is already on the outside. 16 is 4 times 15. The bottom, 9 times 4 is 9 times square root of 4 is 9 times 2. Square root of 100 is 10. Okay, so the top, 12 times the square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 3 stays the square root of 3. Plus 4 times the square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 15 stays the square root of 15. 9 times 2 is 18 minus 10. All right, so let's put things together. 12 times 2 is 24, radical 3. 4 times 2 is 8, radical 15. 18 minus 10 is 8. And in fact, this one can actually be reduced. 24, 8, and 8 can all be divided by 8. And you need to divide all 3 of them by 8, which leaves me 3 radical 3 plus 1 radical 15 over 1. Simplest way of writing that is 3 radical 3 plus radical 15. Okay, and that is multiplying using conjugates.